Alright, Schlockmeister fans, I'm going to watch one I haven't seen in over 30 years. The Legend of Hell House. Let's check it out.
Your fee will be £100,000. Your assignment to establish the facts.
Regarding what?
Survival after death. You want me to let me know if it's factual.
To a haunted house.
Hell House.
Hell House.
Hell house.
But I thought the Velasco family had it sealed up after...
That's Dr. Baird on the left.
That was 20 years ago.
His wife and two others will join him.
Haunted house?
It's the Mount Everest of haunted houses. There were 2 attempts to investigate it. Both were disasters. 8 people died.
And so the 4 of them arrive. That's Pamela Franklin. She's a medium on the left there. And Roddy McDowell's here too. He's the survivor, the only survivor of the previous attempt to investigate this house.
What's to tell? The house tried to kill me. It almost succeeded.
You will find your stay here most illuminating.
It's a recording from Mr. Belasco,
Think of me as your unseen host.
who owned the house years ago,
During your stay here,
decades
I will
ago.
be with you in spirit.
Drug addiction, alcoholism, sadism, bestiality, mutilation, murder, vampirism, necrophilia, cannibalism, not to mention a gamut of sexual goodies. Shall I go on?
What happened, Mr. Velasco?
No one knows. When relatives of the guests had this house broken into in 1929, they found all of them dead from one cause or another, 27 in all. Velasco was not among them.
Why are you here?
Possession?
Does no good. Nothing changes. Nothing. Get out or I'll hurt you. Get out of this house before I kill you all!
So Florence, that's Pamela Franklin's character, while she's in bed, some spooky stuff starts to happen.
Uniting to form 2 separate strands.
I don't know what exactly is happening here.
2 strands moving toward each other.
Some sort of ectoplasm, apparently. Ghostbusters didn't invent the term.
About.
A little while later, we got chaos.
I know what happened now, Doctor. It was Belasco's son. Well, don't you see? He's trying to separate us. We're less of a challenge to him that way.
At one point, Dr. Barrett's wife comes down and she's like possessed or something, and she starts to come on to Roddy McDowell's character, Ben. She drops her shirt and needs to be slapped back into sense. Oops. Florence gets attacked.
Well, I'm not imagining it. He attacked me.
Check out
Did
her
I
cleavage.
imagine this?
You're being fooled.
Fooled? But Daniel Belasco does exist. We found his body.
We also laid him to rest, so why is he not at rest?
I need you. I love you. I just don't understand what's happening to me.
Florence also has a run-in with a possessed cat. And then we find it dead later on. So he's got this big machine that he thinks can, like,
It's a real power.
eradicate this ghost from the
Field of
house.
measurable energy. Energy that can be reversed. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
I was the only one to make it out of here alive and sane in 1953. And I will be the only one to make it out of here alive and sane this time. Is she dead?
No. But but she may be possessed again.
You might have been hot stuff when you were 15, but now you're shit. Hear me? Shit!
Consider the destructive mental and physical residual energy which has been poured into its interior. In essence, the house is a giant battery, the residual energy of which must inevitably be tapped by those who enter it. This afternoon, my machine will fill the house with a massive countercharge of electromagnetic radiation, which will oppose the polarity of the atmosphere, reverse and dissipate it. And Hell House will be exorcised.
Soon you'll be sent from this hell to another.
So that's the end of Florence. A giant crucifix fell on her. Before she died, in her own blood, she put a little symbol, which I think is the letter B for Belasco. So Dr. Barrett starts his big machine. Yeah, that ought to do it. Sounds impressive.
Barrett, the house is clear. It is completely clear. And I call that machine a pile of junk. Jesus God, a pile of junk.
The house is not clean, though. There's Dr. Barrett.
It's here. The entire house is clear except for this one place. Why? It isn't multiple hauntings. It's only one. One entity pretending to be Daniel. One entity pretending to be many others. That's where the answer lies. One! I know!
He's trying to antagonize the ghost now. They find the body of Mr. Belasco. Well preserved after all these decades.
This is a special moment. Meet Emmerich Belasco.
Apparently he had prosthetic legs.
He so despised his own shortness that he had both his legs cut off and wore those instead to give himself height.
So they turn Dr. Barrett's machine on again. This time they leave the door open to that room where Belasco is, and they assume that will exorcise the house once and for all. And they leave. Merry Christmas, everybody. All right, let's talk about The Legend of Hell House. Now, when I picked this movie to watch, I was thinking, oh, that's the movie. I was thinking it was a different movie. I was thinking it was the movie The Haunting from 1963. But no, this is The Legend of Hell House from 1973 with Roddy McDowell and the adorable Pamela Franklin. So I taped this movie off of cable, one of the movie channels back around 1992, 1993. Watched it then, haven't seen it since. I've owned this DVD for probably 20 years. Never watched it until today. DVD still works, yay. So anyway, what we have here is a haunted house movie. Something happened here. Some people have died over the years. Like 27 people died in 1927. This is the Belasky, or is it Belasco? I can't remember. The Belasco house, I think it was. I think Mr. Belasco or possibly his son is haunting it, possibly both of them. Some investigators went like 10 years earlier, 20 years earlier to investigate it, and they ended up all dying except for one. Roddy McDowell somehow made it out alive. So they bring him back this time as the sole survivor and have somebody who has some knowledge of the house, I guess you could say. He's getting a fat paycheck for this too, by the way. There's a couple of paranormal investigators and some mediums, so they want to go in and right away some ghostly stuff starts happening. They hear some moans. There's some possession stuff. Things start moving. Doors open and close. Pamela Franklin, who's the medium, something channels her, and she's talking in that spooky voice. And the voice is saying, "Get out! Before I kill you all," something like that. At one point, she gets attacked by this cat. Then the cat ends up dead. Then Pamela Franklin ends up dead when this giant cross falls on her. And then Dr. Barrett, who's our main character here, he's brought this gigantic supercomputer, which probably has less memory than your iPhone, into this place. He thinks he can turn it on and some sort of waves go in the air. It's going to cleanse the house and free it of the ghosts or whatever is there. He tries it. It seems to have worked, but then he ends up dead, like something fell on him, a chandelier or something. He's dead. That leaves us with his wife, Anne, I think was her name, and Ben, who's Roddy McDowall's character. They find some hidden room, and they find Mr. Belasco in there, perfectly preserved, sitting in a seat. Turns out he has prosthetic legs, and he was always scared or self-conscious about his height, so he made prosthetic legs to make him bigger. I don't even know what the hell that had to do with the plot, but whatever the case is, they leave him there, and then they turn on the machine again, and they think, well, now that we've opened up the door to this room where this guy's sitting, that'll work, and it will cleanse the house for good. And then they leave, and then we never find out if the house gets cleansed or not. Legend of Hell House. There you go. Not a bad little film. It's kind of a film that kind of reminds me of something you would watch maybe in the 70s or early 80s on a late show or something like that, a horror host night on a Friday night or something like that. Or even on a Sunday afternoon, they might show something like this. There's one brief nude scene from Pamela Franklin. Though it's kind of dark and you can't see a whole lot, but you can see her silhouette, and it's a great silhouette because she is a very cute actress. Always was. Always had a thing for Pamela Franklin. But yeah, it's got actually some decent gore for a movie. It seems like it should be tame. It even says rated PG, but there was a couple of decent gore scenes in it, and had some spookiness to it. So there you go. It's basically a haunted house movie, and not a bad film. If you were looking for something that's not overly adult or full of sex or anything, this might be one to watch. Although again, there is a very brief. You got to look closely to see the outline of her nipples. Nude scene from Pamela Franklin. I was looking too. Check it out, The Legend of Hell House. I'm pretty sure this has a Blu-ray release now. If so, I'll leave a link to that down below if you want to buy it. If not, you can always still get the DVD. And I can tell you, even after 20 plus years, it works great. Check it out, leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Legend of Hell House. Watch it. Bye.